Hey guys, welcome back to Pros the English podcast. I'm your teacher Nika, and in today's episode, I'd like to dive into the world of social media. I'll share the role of social media in my life. We will also talk about dealing with social media addiction and explore the ways we can break the cycle of endlessly scrolling through our feeds. First of all, I'd like to mention that currently I'm actively using four social media platforms: Instagram, Telegram, YouTube, and Pinterest. And Instagram is my primary platform. It's the space where I develop my personal brand and also build my English school. It's also the place where I create content about my life. I also share insights about learning English and I connect with my students. And I'm really enthusiastic about Instagram, and there are a couple of reasons why. Firstly, Instagram has many different options for communicating with audience. For example, I can write posts, I can create cool reels like short videos, or I can also share stories. I even can do all of these things on the same day if I've got enough time, but it's up to me to decide what type of content I would like to post today. Secondly, I love Instagram because it's like a filter, you know? Every day, hundreds of new people start following my blog. But thanks to my content, the values, goals, and lifestyle I communicate, only like minded people stay with me and keep following me and keep studying with me in the future. I remember that at the beginning, when I only started my blog, I was afraid that I would face hate and negativity, but the reality is quite different. My blog's audience is awesome, it's full of kind hearted, goal oriented, and very active people. And as the result, I have the same students who later on join my courses and classes. And every time I talk to my students, I think, wow, I'm so lucky to work and to be surrounded by those kind of people. So, yeah, I'm really thankful to Instagram for helping me building this awesome community. Another reason Instagram has my heart is because I have a chance to be closer to people who inspire and motivate me. And I can get to know more about their lifestyle, their way of thinking, their way of doing business and developing. And yes, I do not know those people personally, but I'm still picking up lessons from their stories, and thanks to that, I may improve the quality of my life. And one more important point that I wanted to mention is that thanks to Instagram, I can stay in touch with my friends and family members who live really far away in other countries. Just by watching their stories, I can find out what's going on in their lives, and it helps us stay connected. But, even though I'm head over heels in love with Instagram, I have to admit that unfortunately I'm addicted to this platform because the content is created the way to keep us engaged and keep us scrolling it for hours. And for example, sometimes I log in to Instagram just to check messages that I've got from my students. But half an hour later, I find myself watching reels and I don't remember how it happened. Or I may come to a cafe where I want to relax and enjoy the beauty of nature and the taste of coffee, but somehow every 10 minutes my hand unconsciously opens Instagram and I start scrolling stories. It's hard for me to distance myself from social media since, like I mentioned before, I've got my business and my students there. But I'm still working on spending less time on it because, first of all, it kills a bunch of my free time that I could use for something helpful and useful. And secondly, there are times when I feel vulnerable, when I feel insecure and not so confident. And when I see the stories of someone's, successful success or someone achieving great results, it sometimes makes me feel down and takes away my motivation and my energy. So that's why, guys, this podcast is not only for you, but for me too. It's like a step towards less doom scrolling and more quality time. So let's discuss it. The first thing that I've already done is turning off notifications on Instagram. In this case, I only open app when I have the time or the desire to post something. And this is very convenient because I'm not constantly interrupted by millions of notifications coming from the app. When it comes to Telegram, for example, I cannot do the same because I use it to chat with my students and my family members, and I want to see their messages immediately. However, I've muted various channels that I follow and I only check them when I have some free time. So, this tip of turning off notifications, I believe, is very useful. Another trick for spending less time on social media is to unfollow blogs and channels that don't inspire you or provide useful information. Let's say you follow some of your work colleagues, but they post a lot of silly stories that you aren't interested in. And in this case, if you can't unfollow them because you think it's impolite, you can just mute their stories and keep only their posts. This way, you will still see their photos from time to time when they post them in the main feed, but you will not be bothered by their daily stories. And here I've got one more really important thing to mention. If you follow blogs that annoy you or make you feel bad about yourself or make you question your skills and talents and generally bring you down, then simply unfollow them. You will not lose anything, but you will quickly notice that your mental health and your mental well being improves. Pay attention to when you're endlessly scrolling on social media, because in my case, for example, I used to start my day with my phone and end it with my phone. And in the mornings, right after my alarm went off, I remember I used to open up Instagram and spend around 30 minutes just scrolling Instagram feed. And I remember times, for example, when I planned to get up early and do a lot of things, but instead I found myself getting up early just to waste time on Instagram. Then I felt frustrated, I felt unsatisfied, and of course, I felt stressed because I had to rush through tasks. If you are in the same boat and can't wake up without checking your Instagram feed, I think it's time for a change. So try swapping this habit with something else. For example, turning on some music instead of opening Instagram. And I believe that music can really help you wake up and boost your mood. And you may even find yourself singing and dancing along, making it a pretty awesome way to start your day. In addition to good music, you could also listen to positive affirmations on YouTube. These are the videos where someone, like a speaker, usually encourages you, telling you that your day is going to be filled with good things, good people, and positive stuff. They also highlight your positive qualities and character traits and the things you should be thankful for. And with these videos, you will feel more grateful and you will be able to consciously focus on your own thoughts and your own emotions. But if you still enjoy scrolling on your phone in the morning, then try switching to Pinterest instead of Instagram. In my opinion, it's the coolest app ever, because it's all about our dreams. For instance, if you are thinking about buying a house or designing an apartment, you can search for interior design ideas on Pinterest, and you can save these ideas in different folders. And later, when you are ready to buy things like furniture and furnishings, you will already have a clear idea of what appeals to you and what you really want to have. Apart from your home decor, you can also find inspiration for your next trips or outfits for upcoming seasons. Spending even just like 15 minutes collecting and visualizing your dreams can be amazing, and you will know exactly what you want, and you won't be influenced by other people's dreams, which can happen on Instagram. If you find yourself always swiping your phone screen in the evenings after your workday is done and it bothers you because you know that you could have done more productive things than just spending time on social media, I've also got a solution for you. Leave your phone in another room and set an alarm for 1 or 2 hours. And during that time, focus on doing things that you actually want to do. For example, read a book, make a dinner, chat with your family, and enjoy quality time with them. The idea is that if you don't see your phone, you don't feel the need to check it every 10 minutes and dive into social media. I personally bring my phone to another room at 10 p.m. I really want to start doing it earlier, but 10 p.m. is already progress for me. And during this hour before I go to bed, I can read a book or learn Polish or just have a chat with my husband about his day and the latest news. And I've noticed that this habit helps me fall asleep faster and makes my evenings less stressful. I think that all of us should follow the idea of putting our phones away when we hang out at a cafe or restaurant with our friends. And it's not a good idea to keep our phones on the table because we might keep looking at them instead of having a good chat with our buddies. And in this case, if you really want to spend quality time with your loved people, keep your phone in your bag and it will not distract you. Some people suggest that if you want to cut down on your online time, you should set some limits. Those notifications that show up on your screen when you've reached the limit you set. But honestly, those limits don't really work for me. I just hit the skip button and keep scrolling. What does work for me is planning and organizing my life. For example, I always plan my upcoming week on Sunday evening, and I know exactly what tasks I need to complete and when. And when I spot some free hours, I decide how to fill them. For example, I may go rollerblading, or I may go to the beach, do some shopping, catch up with my friends, or try out different activities. I've realized that if I keep my days packed with work and fun stuff that I've planned out, I end up with just about an hour for my phone, and that's a great result. Exactly the same thing goes for weekends. If I want to relax and unwind properly, then I need to plan enjoyable things in advance. Otherwise, I will just end up at home or in a cafe scrolling through my phone. For example, last weekend, my husband and I went to a rope park on Saturday. A rope park is a place with ropes between trees where you can climb around. And we spent there about 1.5 hours. And I didn't even think about my phone because, well, I was literally up in the tree. And after that time, I noticed that I felt so refreshed. Or on Sunday, we went stand-up paddleboarding in the old town of Gdańsk. And again, my phone had no chance because my hands were totally occupied. So, what I'm trying to say is that the rules and limits, they don't really help me. What works is doing fun stuff that keeps me busy and makes me forget about social media completely. Okay, guys, so those are all the ideas I wanted to discuss with you today. Of course, we've got to agree that we cannot live without social media, but we can manage and control the time we spend there so we don't end up wasting our actual lives and special moments we could be sharing with our beloved ones. Thank you so much, guys, for staying with me and for listening to me today. If you still haven't followed this podcast, please do so. And if you want to keep in touch with me, you can find me on Instagram and on Telegram. The links are right there in the episode description. Have a great day, have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye bye.